Well, new cases of COVID-19 are hitting Australia hard despite some of the longest and harshest lockdowns over the past 2 years. The state of New South Wales on Saturday reported 16 deaths. That's the highest since the pandemic started. And it's against that backdrop that the most famous unvaccinated tennis player in the world is hoping to defend his title at the Australian Open. Right now, Novak Djokovic is confined to an immigration detention centre in Melbourne after his visa was revoked for allegedly not meeting the vaccination requirements. On Monday, a court will hear his appeal to stay in the country for the tournament. Well, CNN's Angus Watson is live for us in Sydney and joins us with more on this. And more details are emerging each day about this case. And we learnt during the court documents that Novak Djokovic is unvaccinated and that he got COVID-19 back in December, allegedly. But he was seen at events that day that he got that positive result. Take us through the pictures.
That's right, Linda. We see here on social media posts, pictures posted to social media, Novak Djokovic at 3 separate events, one organised by his own foundation on the 16th of December. That's the day that he registered a positive COVID-19 PCR test. The next day, 2 more events have cropped up with pictures of Novak Djokovic with children at a tennis event, handing out awards, no social distancing, no masks. We know now that he wasn't vaccinated. Another event too organised by the Serbian Postal Service. So there'll be questions now, Linda, as to whether Novak Djokovic knew he had COVID-19 when he went to those events. We don't know for sure. He and his team haven't said anything about that at all. They might be under pressure to do so, but this case is taking a lot of different twists and turns before it appears again in court on Monday. Novak Djokovic's quest to win his 10th Australian Open title may no longer lie in his hands or even in the power of his racket. Instead, the men's #1 tennis player waits for an Australian court to decide whether he can participate. Djokovic is trying to enter the country to contest the title without having had a COVID-19 vaccination. He thought he had an excuse when federal officers stopped him at Melbourne Airport late Wednesday night. Hours later, they'd ordered him deported. In court Monday, his lawyers will try to stop that. But no one, Australia says, can come in without a vaccination or a watertight exemption.
The Minister for Health was absolutely black and white clear to Mr Djokovic about what his responsibilities and the expectations were.
Djokovic has never felt a responsibility to be vaccinated. Instead, he's long kept his status a secret and pushed back on the idea of vaccine mandates. Now, court filings reveal Djokovic has never had the shot, but his lawyers will argue he received a worthy medical exemption from 2 separate panels on grounds he tested positive for COVID-19 as recently as December 16th. The Australian government says such a loophole doesn't exist. So Novak Djokovic waits it out in a Melbourne hotel turned immigration detention facility, also home to refugees caught up in the Australian immigration system for years. Outside, his supporters and anti-vax protesters demand his release. The Australian government says Djokovic can leave the country at any time. By arriving unvaccinated, Djokovic always knew he was wading into Australia's own pandemic politics. Few in Australia hold much sympathy for him, with COVID infections at an all-time high and hospitals overflowing. But in a private message to staff and leaked to the media, tournament organiser Craig Tiley said he's confident the Grand Slam will be a success.
There's a lot of finger pointing going on and a lot of blaming going on, but I can assure you our team has done an unbelievable job and have done everything they possibly could according to all the instructions.
Djokovic has repeatedly requested to be moved from the Park Hotel detention facility to somewhere with a court where he could practice in case he does beat the deportation and can go for a record 21st Grand Slam. But his sporting legacy is now at the mercy of his public reputation. Photos posted to social media show him maskless and surrounded by people at 3 events in December, on the same day and one day after his vaccination exemption request says he tested positive for COVID-19. It's unclear if Djokovic was aware of his test results before appearing at any of these events. CNN has reached out to his team for comment. What we do now know, looking back at these photos of Djokovic with young tennis players, is that he was unvaccinated. Now, Lynda, Novak Djokovic is really in the minority of tennis players that haven't had 2 vaccinations. Over 95 of the top 100 men's players are fully vaccinated, according to the ATP, and over 85 of the top 100 women's tennis players have had 2 shots, according to WTA.
Yeah, he's certainly in the minority. And Angus, he's not the only athlete whose visa was revoked. There seems to be a bit of a blunder for Tennis Australia. Surely they would have understood the requirements to enter the country at the border.
It's all very complicated, this stoush now that's developing between Tennis Australia and the federal government. The federal government has several layers of legislation which it uses in order to enforce its strict border policies. It says that nobody that hasn't had 2 vaccinations can come into Australia. It has biosecurity laws, very, very broad biosecurity laws, in order to back up that mandate. So Tennis Australia has done all it could to try to get its champion in. Novak Djokovic, of course, won the 2021 Australian Open. The organisers of the tournament really want him here to back up that crown. It will be extremely interesting to see how it all plays out when it hits court again Monday. That's the federal circuit court on Monday, not a tennis court, Lynda.
Yeah, exactly. Not where he wants to be at this point in time. So close to the start of the Australian Open. Angus Watson in Sydney, thanks very much.